Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. Perhaps you've been seeing what's been going on with the markets today. A lot of things are dropping. There was a spike upwards for a bit, but what's been happening is currencies have been in turmoil. Particularly the UK pound has been dropping. Over the last 2 months, it has dropped over 10% in value. Imagine you have a retirement account and it drops, not because the stocks drop, not because your bonds drop in value, but because the value of the currency it's denominated in drops 10%. We've been experiencing that in the United States and a lot of other countries as well, as your purchasing power has dropped off dramatically across the board. That's why we keep saying stock up now, because you're trading paper that is losing its value rapidly for items that are actually against the paper gaining in value. In reality, they're actually just staying the same. But in some cases, because things are going into shortage, they are actually becoming more valuable. As we have bad crop harvests coming in, that means those food prices are actually going to rise just because of scarcity. Other things due to conflict in the world, inefficiencies in the world markets, because you're not allowed to buy things from certain countries anymore, even though those may be the best and the cheapest producers of certain items. You have to purchase them from someone more expensive. There is the map that points to a bear country piping natural gas straight into Europe, and it said, like, this is the most efficient route, but then instead it's being piped to Dragon country over there, and then they're putting it on ships, and they're taking it all the way around Asia, through the Suez Canal back up to Europe and selling it to them there. And just like, that is highly, highly inefficient. And everyone's paying more for it because you're paying for this around-the-world trip of ships in order to circumvent sanctions and such. So inefficiencies are being added. So things that you have tangible, the silver that you have, the food that you have, the chick coins, as I like to call them, the canned chicken, that is increasing in value regardless of what's happening with currencies. But then when you add what's happening with currencies, many of the Western countries have abused being reserve currencies of the world. So like if you go to a third world country, back when I was traveling around in like Tajikistan, I'd go up and I'd see the exchange boards, right? And it was their currency pegged against all the different currencies, and it would change, maybe a couple times a day, but usually once a day. You'd see what the exchange rate is, and basically all the stores would have the same thing, and then that's what they would exchange at, right? And they had the euro, they had the dollar, and they would usually have the pound up there as well. And that's kind of standard for the world, is that a lot of these very stable currencies are kind of generally accepted all around the world. And the pound dropping in value dramatically is because they have been abusing their status as a reserve currency. They've been printing too much money. They're like, well, we can just kind of skim off a percentage of the value of all the people who hold those banknotes around the world. Well, people around the world are starting to dump those banknotes and saying, well, then we don't want them. They're not as valuable because you're just going to keep pulling this crap. You're going to keep printing money, right? And that's what the United States is doing. That's what the European Union is doing. It's just like, let's just print more money. Well, countries around the world who are getting the shaft because of that, they are getting just the short end of the stick. And it's all because these stable reserve countries are doing this. Now, that's always been kind of accepted because, their currency is worse, right? Their country's interest rates, but inflation rate would be like way, way higher than the United States or way, way higher than the European Union. But now it's like the European Union and the United States and the UK's inflation rate is like so high that it's actually kind of like, well, you're no better than our our economy? Why don't we just stick with our currency, right? And that's what people are talking about around the world, and they're starting to say, hey, what about this lump of this rock here, this silver or this gold? You know, this maybe this won't lose as much value as your stupid dollar. And that's where people are pivoting away. You need to be concerned about what's going on overall, about the financial aspects of this. But of course, the shortages things are also super critical. And as some people have pointed out just recently too, there's also the impending disasters that are hitting individuals right now. There's a storm closing in on Florida. And if you've seen some of the pictures, the stores in some places in Florida are cleaned out, nothing left. No water, no food. They're already cleared out. You know, people are like, we'll never run out of food in the United States. Go to Florida right now and tell me what it looks like in some of these places where we're seeing pictures of the stores being just wiped out. That's how fast people panicking will clean out a store. We're talking hours. We're not talking days. We're talking hours. People will clean out a store like that. And all it takes is people to start panicking. And whether they're going to start panicking about food shortages, whether they're going to start panicking about inflation rate just going through the roof, spiking, or whether it is some sort of civil disturbance in your country or your area, all it takes is for a rumor to get hold. It doesn't even have to be true. And people can start panicking. And when that happens, they start doing a few things. They start trying to pull their money out of the bank, which they figure out real fast. There's not enough money in the bank. The ATMs will go dry. And then the bank's branches just won't open. They won't open their gates. And then the other thing they do is they go to the stores and they try to clean out the food. After they realize there's not enough food, they're going to start stealing all the TVs because that's what they do. Why? I don't know why they do that. They want to buy food and toilet paper, and if they can't do that, then they steal the TVs. So, watch out for that. When we see all this panic starting, that's why you need to stay away. That's why you need to be already set up. Get your food now. If the stores still have food right now where you are, so as long as you're not in some parts of Canada that are being affected by Fiona, or down south in the United States, being about to be hit by that hurricane / tropical storm, whatever it is right now. They say it's going to strengthen to be a hurricane, supposedly. If you're in that area, you might not be able to buy food right now. So do what you can. Stay safe out there. Take precautions. If you're in the way of a storm, if you're in the way of being in Europe with winter setting on, do what you can. If you're in South Africa and you're dealing with the power cuts and the load shedding, do what you can. All you can do is do what you can with what you have right now. But you have more opportunities today probably than you will tomorrow and the next day and the next week and the next month. More opportunities today than you will in the future. So make your use of those, because in the future you're going to kick yourself for not having made use of those. All right, that's what I got for you. If you were in the new studio here, we got our microphone back on. So let me know if you like the audio and the lighting, if that's good. And I will see you guys later. Here's another video from me. Otherwise, Steve Poplar out.